to show that everyone is over 18 years old and there's 3 people. Okay. All right. No. For my Bio 290 class, which was a field experience in biology class, last semester I did a research project on roadside raptor surveys. I did this because the projects that our professor had lined up for us were all on microorganisms and plants, and I like animals better. So I went to the Iroquois National Wildlife Refuge, and I got in contact with the senior biologist there, and she took me on surveys of short-eared owl and got me familiarized with field experience. And I contacted the ornithologist from Brockport, and he gave me a lot of tips on roadside surveys. They are really convenient and efficient for studying birds because birds are so widely dispersed and occur at relatively low densities and are always moving around. But they're pretty effective. In this, I will show you how to plan and prepare a roadside survey. I will discuss the strategy to successfully execute a roadside raptor survey. And in the process, we will see the common raptors of New York, Western New York, and I will discuss the information that is needed to, important to record in a survey. Raptor research requires planning. You have to choose a good time to do a route, which will be good for raptors and for you, and you need to be faithful to it. You need to be sure to alternate rotations, so if you go clockwise one day, you have to do counterclockwise the next, to try to minimize the error that will be associated with the birds that come out at night versus the birds that are out in the day. And you want to find 10 sites with good habitat before you do your survey. Dr. Norman pointed out 10 sites for me, so I didn't have to do it. He was from Brockport. And I have to familiarize yourself with the raptor species in the area and the equipment, so you're not fumbling around with manuals and trying to, oh, what's that? I don't know. Before you hit the road, you have to check the weather report, make sure you have gas in your car, and you want to have all your equipment, the binoculars, the rangefinder, field guide, GPS unit, clipboard, paper, and a pen. While looking for raptors en route, you want to drive slowly. 45 miles per hour is a bit fast, but you want to drive carefully too. Keep an eye out for raptors en route from one site to the next, because you want to record all the raptors you see, not just the ones on your site. And when you do get to a site, you stop for 5 minutes, survey around, check for raptors in flight, perched on things, check the hedgerows, the grass, everything. And you want to listen for raptor calls, because you may not see them, but you might be able to hear them, which is often the case with great horned owls. You also want to record weather information, wind speed, direction, temperature, and precipitation, because this could affect how many raptors are out that day and could impact your data. You also want to record the location with a GPS coordinate for each site and get the distance to the bird from your site and the angle to the path. The distance you can find using a rangefinder. It'll shoot a beam at the bird and show you how far away it is. And for the angle of the path, I used northeast, southwest coordinates because I wasn't going in a straight line. But if you were, you'd be able to use regular degrees, like 0 degrees, 23 degrees, 45, etc., etc. The more important thing to record is, well, species, of course, and sex, which can be determined in northern harriers and kestrels. Northern harriers are, males are gray, females are brown. Maturity, you can see the immature northern harriers have a reddish belly, and for the Cooper's hawk and the sharp-shinned hawk, they have brown spots instead of looking like the mature males do. And you can also record morph color, red-tailed hawk and rough-legged hawk. There's differences in the birds there. You also should record behavior, whether they're flying, they're perched, they're feeding. And you need to record the habitat that the bird is occupying. Now, the bird may be in a tree, but the tree may also be surrounded by a grassy field, and you'll want to take that into account. So the habitat most common adjacent to the bird is what you want to write down. These are the most common raptors for western New York. The Acceptor family is the Cooper's hawk, the sharp-shinned hawk. In the Buteos family, it's the red-tailed hawk, the rough-legged hawk. In the falcon family, we have the American kestrel, and the owls, we have the great horned owl and the short-eared owl. The northern harriers, bald eagles, and ospreys are in a family all their own. They're the only two birds that I haven't yet shown you, and here we have the bald eagle and osprey. There's always an unavoidable chance of error when conducting a survey, but there are techniques to help minimize it with the rotations going one way, and also you can plug your data into a computer program which will help take it into account. You can also take into account that identifying raptors can be tough. They're not necessarily in sight. Their activities might not be visible because they're in the brush and sleeping. It could be the wrong season. Like raptors, like the northern harrier and red-tailed hawks, are more prevalent in this area during the winter, and it could be just bad weather and they're not going to be out that day. And I hope that everyone else had good luck on my project as I did. Thank you for listening.